NXT just went off the air a few minutes ago. We're on Popular Review. We have an NXT review show. There's a lot of things that happened. We had Stephaine Vaquer. She had her debut, right? That's cool. We had a gentleman's duel match. And there's so many other things. And we had a pretty good main event with Wes Lee, Ethan Page, and one Javon Evans. I had to make sure I got the name. So we're going to talk about NXT. This is Unpopular Review. Hit that like and subscribe button. I almost said subside. Hit that like and subscribe button, and we're going to talk all NXT after the intro.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Unpopular Review.
Thank you all for clicking on our faces.
Blue flag with all that.
Okay, so I wrote down some notes.
Let's do that. I don't want to sit too hard. That's twice.
That'll
probably go over about. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Unpopular Review.
Thank you all for clicking on our faces.
Blue flag with all that.
Okay, so I wrote down some notes.
Let's do that. I don't want to sit too hard. That's twice. That'll probably go over about as well as Colonel W.
Because there was no Jay White side.
Just straight up gangbanging. This story has been fit. You gotta pay attention.
So Unpopular Review does not. What is she the CEO of, Chris? Jesus, golly. Let's start.
Hey there, folks. I don't know, we got two of them. But we're gonna make this work. There we go. This is Unpopular Review. This is the NXT Tuesday Crew. I'm one of your hosts, the Great Grand Slam Poopa, and I'm joined with, as always on Tuesday, Sabrina Stella. Sabrina Stella, why don't you tell the people how the heck are you?
Well, survived Hurricane Milton, but I'm okay.
Well, we're glad to know that you're all right. I mean, I saw the devastation of I forget the name because they always name these hurricanes, but saw how bad it was out there. So just glad that you're all right. I know the executive consultant, he's all right. We're just glad that people are okay. Speaking of the executive consultant, he was out there for NXT. Looked like he had a good time. I could tell he had a good time because he didn't smile one bit. So that's how you know he's having a good time, when he's even extra grumpier. You can just see his hunchback just growing by the second. But this show is not about the executive consultant, but I do hope that he had a good time. We're going to talk about NXT. We see you guys in the chat. George is always the first one in the chat. My thing restarted, so I didn't get to see the first four messages. But George, thank you for always being number one in the chat. Todd says, "Yo, what up, Todd?" And we got Good Chris in the chat. Roxanne Perez and Cora J versus Stephaine Vaquer and Julia at Halloween Havoc, which is October 27th, is going to be higher. And we're going to talk about her. Talking about Stephaine Vaquer, because she had her debut match. And honestly, it was the right call to do, honestly. Stephanie and Julia, they've been teasing them working together and going against this duo, this reunion of one, Cora Jade and Roxanne Perez. So it was a great move. I look forward to that match. I don't look forward to, and I see you, George, already starting with Fatal Influence. You three messed with the wrong international wrestlers. I did not like that at all. Ava is very unfair. If anyone remember that one episode of SpongeBob where he said, Krusty Krab, unfair, something, I forget the thing. It's a funny episode. Watch classic SpongeBob. But what did you think about NXT? I'm talking so much, but one, wrestling ball, what did you think about NXT?
Well, I definitely enjoyed the show. It was fun. It was nice to see Stephaine Vaquer make her debut, show her Chilean pride as a fellow Latina woman myself. I was very proud of that for her. I kind of have like a goth witch vibe today. I guess I kind of look like her a little bit too. So there we go. And unintentional, but we're going with it.
It's almost like the Halloween theme, right? Halloween, you kind of
Halloween Havoc is 2 weeks away, so I figured why not. And I just have one thing to say, because we couldn't do the show last week because Hurricane Milton was coming in and I wasn't able to watch it. But I don't have anything. I mean, I did get to watch a bit of it after which was good. But I just have one thing to say in regards to the WWE Speed Championship for the women. Triple H, you finally give Candice LeRae a title, but you give her one that she can't bring onto TV, nor can y'all talk about it because y'all don't do it with Andrade. So what's the point of giving them a belt if they can't even talk about it? At least on TNA or NWA, any television or social media championship belts, those can get talked about. But you make belts for men and women that can't even be brought onto TV or talked about. Because not even the SmackDown commentary can even say Andrade is the WWE Speed Championship.
I do want to ask, didn't he have like show up one time on the main, I say main roster, he's on the main roster, but didn't he show up one time on SmackDown with the, cause I feel like I saw the belt. I mean, maybe it was just a picture or something like that.
Briefly, but they don't even talk about it. They're not even allowed to say anything. And now y'all give Candice a win. She gets a belt for it, and it's something she can't even present or show on TV.
The only thing I got regards to that is she's happy. I saw a post that she made. I forget when she won it, but she seemed very happy with the belt. And if she's happy with it, then good for her. Because I do agree
having a belt because the last time she had a belt was the tag championship.
I do,
but I just wanted at least a belt that she could show on TV. That's all.
I definitely agree though that the belts it don't have any meaning. I don't even know what they're there for, especially if it's not going to be talked about.
It's a belt that's
And you also don't want to be like another company that has all these belts. Like I'm a big believer in when you have a championship, it should have some meaning to it and all that stuff. So yeah, I especially if we're not going to be talking about it. So I don't know. Maybe it's. I mean, does anybody on X watch it? I mean, did anybody watch? I don't watch it. So does anybody watch it and they get a kick out of it?
I don't mind, but I already watched NWA and they have matches with 6-minute and 5-second time limits. So I don't feel like watching 5-minute time limit matches every time. But I'm happy that Candice finally got a win over you for the first time in ever.
Oh, there you go. We got New H Man in the chat. He says, "Hi there, guys. How was your Columbus Day yesterday?" I was at work,
so it was fine.
Yeah, it was cool. I plan on taking off next week, so I'm sorry, this little tissue moved. I didn't know if something moved it. I would be sure that there's no ghost in there. But yeah, it was fine.
Who are you gonna call?
Huh?
Who are you gonna call?
I wish I had their number. They have actually a really good theme. I'll give Ghostbusters. I've never watched a Ghostbuster movie, but when I hear the theme, I'm not gonna lie, I do shake my hips. I do that. George also says Stephaine Vaquer is known as the Dark Angel. I remember that being a show on Fox all them years ago. Leah made it. I only watched one episode because Lita was on there, and I think that's where she hurt her neck, actually. But Dark Angel. I forget her name, not Jessica Biel. It was a Jessica. She was the one in Fantastic Four. She used to play the Dark Angel.
Jessica Alba.
Yes. Is she still acting? Like, I haven't seen her in years.
Acting, no. But as far as I know, she runs her own, like, cosmetics or skincare company.
Oh, good for her. I didn't know what she was doing. Good for her. Good Chris in the chat. Good Chris is kind of not being good right here. He said, Candice LeRae can't win anything else. Well.
She hasn't been given the best presentation on the main roster. But she has had very good NXT matches and as well as matches in the independent scene. Go find her match with her against her husband, her against Cedric Alexander. Find her matches.
Oh, man. That one with Cedric, I remember she took this mean lumberjack. I mean, she sold that like hell. So, yeah, no, I root for her. I like her very much. I don't think she's really been hitting on the main roster. But I root for her. I admit, anytime I've ever seen her wrestle, I've been entertained. So, yes, I do, in fact, root for her. We got George, who says, and we'll get into the show. He says, I can see Roxanne turning on Cora at Halloween Havoc.
Time out. Why does every tag partner, every partnership have to end in a turn? It doesn't have to end in a turn.
You know, I hear you once, Sabrina, Estella. Now, I hear you, but yes, it does.
And if she turns I'm going to go back to being a face.
Huh? Who?
Every time there's a turn. The only time there's ever been a turn and somebody got even more heat and became more of a heel was Dominic Mysterio at SummerSlam. It ain't going to be the same.
That wasn't a turn. I call that justice. You know, Rey Mysterio has been a terrible father for years. He knew it.
That had nothing to do with Rey Mysterio.
Yes, it did. All of it. Like isn't he supposed to be the Papa? Isn't he Papa Mysterio? So yes, good job.
Papa Mysterio wasn't keeping an eye on his son there, now was he?
And whose fault is that? He's the dad.
Well, Dominic Mysterio is a grown-ass man who likes to act like a little boy.
Well, look, Dominic has. I commend him for what he did. I love that he made Juventud proud, and that's all that matters to me on this end. But speaking of stuff, let's talk about the show. It opens up with Tony D. He is now the new North American champion. He defeated one Oba Femi. We didn't get a chance to talk about this last week. I said on the Big Pop Theory podcast, shout out to One Shay Soyo, that I was not a fan of this. Oh, it just zoomed right totally on me. That's crazy. And Steve says, I love Rey Mysterio. I don't like what he did. He has stolen from Juventud Guerrero for many years, but you already know that. But it opens up with, I was saying Tony D. I wasn't prepared for it just to be solely on me. And she's coming back right now. Give her a second. But I was not a fan of one Oba Femi dropping the championship. Oba Femi is going to be a future NXT champion. And I felt like Tony D didn't need to be the one to take the title off him. And I also didn't think Oba should have dropped it. I see Oba going for that championship. If it's not late December, I see it being like somewhere in 2025. And I'm like, well, what's he going to do in between that time? But it looked like right now, as of right now, he's going to be getting a rematch. Tony D, he gives props to Oba. He says, you did break me, but I used your pride against you. I fooled you, and I got the win. So he said salute to him. But it wasn't too long that Oba Femi comes out. And you know what I love about Oba Femi? Yes, he's not the North American champion anymore, but he did not lose his swag. When he walks out, he does that kind of walk right there. I don't think I'm doing it right because I don't have the same muscle mass as the second strongest black man there is. But he comes out there and he says, congratulations, you beat me, but I'll be facing you at Halloween Havoc. And your family won't be able to save you. That's when he does the spin, because we got the Halloween spinning thing, not the spinner belt.
The wheel.
The wheel. It is, in fact, a wheel. He spun it, and when he spun it, it landed on tables, ladders, and scare.
Oh, my.
There we go. I see this definitely Oba taking the L right here. And the only thing I can say that's good out of this is, because I don't think Oba should be getting pinned like that. So in this match, I mean, I can see the destruction and carnage and everything like that. And Oba can lose because there's no pinfall. This is pretty much it's a TLC match. I don't know what the scare part is. I don't know. Maybe Chucky crawls out of the ring. Maybe Jason Voorhees just interferes. I don't know. But I see this as a way of them having a rematch because, right, Oba is entitled to a rematch. But you also protect Oba for taking the pinfall because I just don't think he should get pinned as much. But I am talking a lot here. One wrestling doll, a.k.a. Sabrina Estella. What did you think about this segment? As a matter of fact, I'll throw another thing. What did you think about Tony taking the dub last week?
Well, I was happy for Tony D to take the dub because now he has a title to hold besides being an NXT Tag Champion with Stacks. And I will say that the last time that he was clever and strategized and made it seem like some things were happening when it wasn't was when we all thought that Stacks had turned his back on Tony D to help Gallus out, to take Tony D out of the picture to keep the belts or to have the titles and so on and so forth. So it doesn't surprise me that was the case here. But did I think he was going to be the one to take the belt off of him? No. If they had a feud longer than a few weeks, yes. But hey, I'm happy for Tony D. He deserves it. They're going to get a rematch in this way. Oba doesn't lose by getting pinned, so that way he still looks like a dominant force, like he still looks like the ruler of NXT, who's not going to be going up against the Don.
I see what Oba. What's that baby that had towards the end of the year? Is it Deadline, I think it's called? I definitely see Oba being in the, what's it called? The Iron Survivor match.
Iron Survivor match, yes.
Yeah, because I definitely.
Hey, maybe he can pull a Trick Willie and get like 5 pins in the span of 20 seconds.
And you know what's funny? I don't see Oba taking no like hinting that because I just think like protect him. Like I not to say like he should never lose. Matter of fact, I will say about last week when he lost, it wasn't like he got knocked out; he got rolled up. So I thought they did a good job on that on protecting him. But yeah, I could see him in the Survivor winning and then going for that champ because they actually teased this sometime back. I forget how long ago it was. It was a few months ago, but they teased him and Trick Williams eyeballing each other. So you know that they're leaning towards that. So there we go. Real quick to the chat here, George says, can we say that Adriana Rizzo looking good tonight? She was pretty. She's a pretty girl.
Yeah,
Good.
she is. She's a pretty girl.
We got
And
good
speaking of pretty people.
Yeah. Oh, Chris, he says beautiful people. Salute to you, Miss Water, not Vaquer.
I have water too, but I'll pick that up in a little bit. But
we
I'm just gonna plug this now, and we're gonna plug it again later, anyways. This Thursday, everybody can join me, Freckle Sensei, and Zia Silent as we talk about our top 5 wrestling crushes, or as I have been repeatedly saying to Z since we had brought up the idea, hashtag Thirsty Thursdays.
There you go. You can catch that on Thursday. And you know, something that we can plug something else. So we haven't officially confirmed it yet, but November 6th, that's I believe it's on Wednesday. Anyway, Election Day, NXT is not going to air. It's going to air on Wednesday. So you beautiful people, if you guys like NXT and AEW, we're going to do a collab show, or I guess a fusion show. It's probably going to be the longest show.
It's going to be a Power Ranger crossover.
Well, I called Jason for this.
That's fine.
I'm just saying, Jason's the greatest Red Ranger there is. It always pisses me off when I see Rocky. Rocky can punch himself in the dick. Like, anytime I see Rocky, I immediately got upset. I remember as a kid, can I rant with you guys? Let me rant with you. Ranting with Jack, right? I remember I saw Rocky, and I said, this guy can't fill this guy's boots. And I saw this guy, and I was never been so ashamed to be a Red Ranger, and I was very ashamed. You know, George says the Green Ranger. God rest his soul, Jason David Frank. He did a fantastic job putting that brand on his back. But I actually hated Tommy as a kid. I was not a fan. You know, Jason was leading this team for years or however long, and then Tommy shows up out of nowhere, and now you're the leader. Nah, no, you take a back seat. You don't deserve a Lunchable. I didn't like any of this. As you can tell, I was very upset as a kid with this. But that's just how I feel. And George is also saying, no, I'm talking Tommy the White Ranger. That pissed me off even more. I said, you're still here? I thought I was promised. You know, I was telling one Shay Sawyer last week because Sexy Red was on my TV last week. So I didn't know she was going to be on Raw. You know what I said when I saw her on Raw? I said, is this a threat? I was very upset. I'm sorry. I'm very hyped here. Chris says, I was talking about Sabrina Star, a.k.a. Wrestling Doll, a.k.a. the Great Grand Slam Poopa. We appreciate that one. Good Chris in the chat. Z is sound. Shout out to him. He does a fantastic job. I'll always give that guy credit and hell at the same time. He knows there's nothing but love. Shout out to you, brother.
I tip my crown to you, good sir.
And he does a fantastic job on the SmackDown Penitentiary on Saturdays in the afternoon, because sometimes it's 12, sometimes it's 1. I mix it all up. But he says, I was just watching the Power Rangers remake movie from 2017.
We don't talk about that movie.
Oh my God.
It's like when they did Avatar: The Last Airbender live action and Night Shyamalan dish. We don't talk about that movie.
I can, when you can pinpoint a time when you started like doing something. I can remember, I think that was the first time I taste vodka, just so I could wipe away this terrible memory of this movie. George also says Tommy was a great leader of the Power Rangers. George, I think you.
I would say this in the Dino Thunder version, he was a great leader.
Before you say anything, let me finish this. George, stop day drinking. Go ahead.
No, I was saying that he was a great leader / mentor of the Dino Thunder Rangers.
And that was another thing. I said, you're still here. Like, I started watching Power Rangers.
Hey, I read an article. That was his best rendition, and I agreed.
Steve, he's a troll in the chat because he wrote this in all caps like I'm going to take this seriously.
Steve, what are you doing here? We're not talking about AEW.
He said Sexy Red equals ratings.
Yeah, ratings going down the drain.
I'll tell you this. I'm a man in my mid-30s. This music is just not for me.
No.
But when it's on my TV, I proceed to go finished cooking my salmon. I made sure it was nice and clean.
I proceed to go to the bathroom.
There we go. I would if my stomach was telling me to go to the bathroom, but I couldn't. But Sexy Red is just not for me. I'm just learning who Glorilla is. I don't know who these people are. But let's get into instead of talking about today's music, let's talk about the next match. And I mean, we had an Ora Mensa and Lexis King promo. They're gonna have a gentleman's duel match. I'll read the rules when we get to the match. But we have Stephaine Vaquer. I heard the name so much now that I know how to say it right because I wasn't really good at saying it. But she won against Wren Sinclair. Now, this was Stephanie's debut match on NXT. I know she had a house show match. I forget. She won against one of the girls from Unholy Alliance on Union. I forget who it was. I think it was, Al Ladon. And so with this match, because I'm not familiar with her work, I know she had a match, that one match in AEW with Mercedes Moné, but I didn't watch it live. So I know that she did something recently. This was my first time getting to watch her work. And some of the things I wanted to say is that she's very fluid in the ring. She's very capable in the ring. I thought Wren Sinclair was the perfect person for her to go against. And who's this? Is that you?
I don't know. I can't see it. I'm on my phone.
Who's this? Show yourself, because I feel like, who are you? Okay, disregard. But I thought she did a fantastic job. There was this one spot here of the match I thought was really cool where, and Stephaine Vaquer, I saw her do a training video where she did this thing where she's on her neck and she just tilted her body in all different kind of ways. And Wren Sinclair had her in like a headlock or something like that, and she did that same thing. I thought that was pretty cool. We got Roxanne and Cora Jade watching. And there was a part with Sinclair. She got a lot of offenses. She looked, not just, I didn't expect her to win, but she looked like she was almost on Stephanie's level. And yeah, no, I thought this was fine. I mean, I thought it was great. Vaquer eventually counters and she beats her with a package backbreaker, and then jumped immediately after the match. Can you imagine? You just win and then you just get your ass kicked. But Cora and Roxanne, who was watching, come out. They beat the hell out of her. But Julia makes the save, and they knock these gals out. And then you have Stephanie says, "You two against us two, Halloween Havoc." And it's I almost said confirmed, but yes, it is confirmed that these four women will be facing each other at Halloween Havoc. But Julia and Stephanie will. I was so upset with this. But they will be having a match next week. We'll get to that. We got in the chat, and now it's a party because we have Jeffrey Reimer in the house. What is going on, Jeffrey? It's always great to see you guys, but Jeffrey is kind of the leader of the pack. But George says the crowd loved it. And Jeffrey says that's the only way they could get the upper hand, by jumping them after the match. That's a smart move because these girls are very capable, so you have to do that kind of stuff. Okay. It was a Z who was in there. Thank you, Z, if you're still watching. But what did you think about Stephaine Vaquer's debut? And yeah, take the floor.
Well, I enjoyed the match. I enjoyed seeing both women. I hadn't seen much of Stephanie's work. I will admit that. I'm not gonna be like, oh my God, I'm a huge fan, even though I haven't watched any of her work. I'm not gonna say that. I'm not gonna be a poser. But match was good. Everybody knows that I am a Wren Sinclair, formerly known as Maddie Rankowski fan. I did notice in the gear that they switched it up. They still let her do the one long, one short thing just with her shirts instead of her pants, so it looks less weird. But I enjoyed the match. It was a good showing. She got a lot of offense, like you said, Wren did. And the people loved it. The people liked Wren Sinclair, so they're going to hopefully do something more for her, just like they should hopefully do some more for some of the other people that are still in this product.
Yeah.
And we'll talk about that a little later.
I hope that they do something with her. I mean, she's Wren Sinclair. I mean, I wasn't familiar with her work, and I remember you mentioned before seeing her stuff from NWA and stuff. And as I got to watch more of her, George, I'm sorry. God, there's just so many of you guys with the same letter. But Jeffrey in the chat, he's right. Stephanie has presence. And I was just going to simply say that she has presence and star power, but Wren Sinclair, she's a good hand. She's a good hand. It's just a fun act. Matter of fact, I just think that she adds another. She's honestly my favorite part. No Quarter Catch Crew. I dig Charlie Dempsey. He's hilarious. I don't know why he's even growing that mustache, but it's hilarious to me. But there we go, Jeffrey. I mean, I beat you to the punch there, but he said Charlie's mustache is getting bigger, like Dirty Dom's.
And I think it should get big enough for them to shave it off because they look ridiculous. Both of them.
I think once you grow facial hair, right? Like, I mean,
some people can work it, Exhibit A, and some people cannot, like Dempsey.
I kid you not. I have my nephews sometime ask me, and they say, "Hey," they don't call me uncle, but they'll be like, "Hey, what would you do if someone shaved your beard?" And I tell them, I've had nightmares like that, and I've woke up in a sweat. So you guys will never see a clean shave me. See an old picture, that's about it, but you'll never see the clean shave. Because then I won't be able to lift up my phone. I mean, you guys have no idea. My beard is the source of my power. But let's talk about this gentleman's duel.
Oh, okay. So we're back to people with more bad facial hair. We got Lexis King coming in the ring.
Lexis King.
Listen, what he needs to do, I'm just gonna say this. First of all, I don't like him with straight hair. It doesn't work for him. With the curls and the waves, it looks better. And second of all, get rid of those stupid sideburns and he'll look better. I watched a match of his from last year before he got signed officially onto WWE. He was working a tag match with Moose and against a couple other people. Oh. And he had the curls in his hair and he had none of those stupid sideburns. Looked a million times better.
I honestly think that he does that just to
I'm just gonna say this gentleman's rule thing is slightly confusing, but also slightly more easier to follow.
I have the rules, so I'll read them out here. The rules of the gentleman duel. All violation will result in the disqualification. Can't strike opponents when they have 4 points of contact on the ground. So I guess when you're on all fours. We got can't throw opponent over the top rope and to the floor. Competitors have until the referee's count of 3, not 5, to break when in the ropes. There is absolutely no fighting on the floor. I wanted to make sure I got this because I was not writing any of this shit down, guys. Like when I
wouldn't either.
I immediately said absolutely not. And real quick about this match, it didn't do it for me, guys. It wasn't even a bad match. I thought it was good. It was okay. It wasn't my jam, baby. But
it wasn't our cup of tea.
No, and I don't have tea. I should get tea, but go ahead. That's why I have these.
I just have this big old thing of water, not tea. But
see, George is saying I didn't understand this gentleman duel. It was okay. Like it just didn't do. I feel like these.
Here's the thing: when you go to a wrestling match, and especially in America, you want to see people go crazy and violence, start hitting each other like no tomorrow because that's what the people clap for. When you have a match like this and you don't get as much, people are like, "Huh? I don't get it, and I don't love it. I don't like it."
And the thing is,
I was just like, it wasn't bad. I just couldn't get into it either. I was like, Lexis King is trying so hard not to be his father, but if he were to be a little bit more like that, and they put a little bit more emphasis on who he is and where he came from, people will be more behind him being this character that isn't his father, but it's not working the way that they were doing it. They only showed 1 or 2 vignettes of him watching his father's old matches. That's it. If you didn't say before, if they hadn't said it before on WWE or NXT that he is the son of Brian Pillman, no one would know. No one that doesn't watch AEW that watches NXT would know.
Yeah, this didn't work for me, and I think just because of the rules, because Oba can go,
Yes, he can go.
Yep.
Like we said, we were tired of seeing him as the resident punching bag. I was there when he debuted.
Yeah, so I feel like that stuff restrained him. But he did make me laugh before the match. And Lexus was like, "Yeah, you cheated in the previous match, and I'm trying not to be like my father. I had that talk with Punk." And then Aura is just like, I don't buy into any of this. Like, no.
I don't buy into it either. Lexus King is gonna go out and eventually go crazy and start beating the crap out of people.
We
Just
got
like the
Jeffrey,
loose cannon.
he's Jeffrey, and yeah, he said he didn't want to be the loose cannon, and that's fine. I don't mind him going for his own thing because make your own identity. You know, that's the main thing. Make your own identity, and not everyone could be, like there's certain people like with the loose cannon. And I don't want to pretend like I grew up and I watched this stuff, but I watched some stuff back as I got older of his stuff, and not everyone could play that character, and I don't know if his son could do that. And that's no shade to him, but I mean, they're not the same person. So yeah, I mean, I think he must have carved his own path, and
Which is fine, but
yeah,
it's just such complete opposite that in the way that they presented it when we first saw him. It just wasn't resonating enough to where we could connect and be like, oh, we're totally gonna root for this person who is the son of so and so and is trying to mark their own way. I mean,
yeah, I don't know.
Breaker did that a little bit in the beginning, and we were still behind him, even though we found out eventually that who he's the son and nephew of.
Oh, it didn't take long though. I think once you took a good glance at him, like you could tell, like even the stuff like I would have thought Rick. I would have thought Scott because he sounded like Scott. He sounded like Scott a lot. Like when you hear him, I'm like, oh, that's Scott Steiner's kid. And it was like, that's Rick. But Jeffrey, he says, same Jack. I watch a lot of content back too, growing up and still do. Absolutely. Like a lot of my knowledge comes from watching either documentaries or I'll watch them back or I'll hear something. I heard something recently and I said, I got to check this out eventually. I haven't found a thing, but there was like the Steiner brothers went against Vader and Bam Bam. I said, that shit sound like a banger. If I could ever find that, I might have a review on that.
It'll be a Bam Bam banger.
Bam Bam, Bam Bam is great. Like I remember as a kid, I just remember seeing him like I said, the guy with the tattoos on his head, like, because that stood out. Like, who do you know just have tattoos on the head? And matter of fact, there was
Rest in peace, Umaga.
Umaga don't have he have tattoos on his head?
I guess.
No,
I was thinking the ones on his face.
Oh, that was face paint. Okay, I was confused.
Okay, well now I know.
It's fine. It's fine. But yeah, no, he had a cool look. I remember a game. I think it was called like it was an arcade WWF game. Anyway, if he jumped off the turnbuckle, he'll actually turn to flames. And I used to say that. I used to say that's cool. And Dunk the Clown would just have a hammer. I'm sorry, I'm showing my age here. This game came out in '95. A lot of you guys wasn't even. Well,
Did you say 95?
Huh?
Did you say 95?
Yes.
I was born then.
Thank you. I just want to be sure because sometimes I feel like I'm the old guy in the room, and I embrace it a lot. But I just go like, you wasn't there. Like sometimes I argue with my nephews and niece, and I'm like, you wasn't even there. Shut up. Like you didn't grow up with Little Bear or Franklin. I hated to turn it up, but Little Bear had some dope intro music.
I liked both, so.
You like Franklin? I always wanted to see him. I always wanted to see him get cooked. Like I was hoping, like a human would just hit him over the head with a mallet and just throw him.
Jeffrey, I only seen pictures. I hadn't seen matches of Umaga, so that's how.
That's all. See, George remembered 1995. George invented 1995, so of course he was there. George, you're older than me, so I'm assuming you're there. But that was a gentleman duel match. I want to say, guys, you're watching Unpopular the NXT Review Show. I want to say thank you guys, George and Jeffrey. Yo, what it says, 10:50 at night. We're going to get through this, so we thank you, gents, for being here. After that, we have a segment with Adonis. We
had Brindley and Carmen talking about Stephanie making her debut and her coming in. And then Ashante comes in and is apologizing for interrupting the match, for costing them, etc., etc. Carmen looks like she's all ready for the flower because now she's like, okay, now I realize I want him, even though I didn't want him in the beginning. He was chasing me. He passes it to Brindley, and the way he's talking to them, Briggs and Sean Spears comes up, and then Sean's like, that is not how you talk to women. You talk to them with more respect, and took the flower away. That Carmen was looking at him like, her, what about me? And for that half of the conversation, I agreed with Sean Spears. And I say that because there's a lot of guys that I've seen at shows like that that have hit on me like that, whether in person or through social media, calling y'all out yet again. So, but after that, they got him and Jetson got in each other's faces, and they set up a match for later that night.
I love this. I love what Adonis is doing. I'm a fan, and I'm interested in seeing where this go with him and Carmen. Yeah, because she comes out later. We'll talk about that match. But yeah, no, when I see Adonis on there, matter of fact, someone put something on Twitter. I thought it was great, and they said Adonis. Every week we see him, and there's a picture of a guy said, "Yo, where my hug at?" And that's really what he's become. He's like he's there for the women. He's out there. And
yeah, he's there to hit on anything that breathes.
No, he's
with
not
a pulse.
I would hope not, because that would require animals too. I think there's a limit here, but yes, he does like the women there. There's a lot of pretty women there in NXT, and and he got he got the eye of one Carmen, which I think is great.
After he didn't give her the flower that she was expecting from him, even though she rejected him millions of times.
Honestly, I have to throw out here, he's so brave to sit here and try to play games with this woman. She owns a sword. You don't do that with someone who has a sword. But I digress.
I'll have no fury like a woman scorned.
And a sword. I never seen Kill Bill, but I said I'm pretty sure someone got killed with that sword.
Several people.
Fantastic. We have Nathan and Axiom. They had no. First it was Cedric and Javon last week, and I just want to say this real quick. Talked about it a little bit on the Big Pop. Javon went against Randy Orton, and I thought it was a solid match. I mean, the match was what it needed to be, and I said that was I'm sorry. Let me get my thoughts together. It was an ambitious spot when they went for that move he does with the spin, and Randy went for it, but the timing was off. That's all it was. It was really
the timing was off. Javon did apologize. Randy said no, it's all good, because at least Javon admitted to it like a man and apologized as a proper man should.
Well, I mean, look, things happen in wrestling.
Exactly.
And a lot of people were saying this as well. A few years ago, Randy might have said a few other words, but it also showed you the maturity of Randy Orton. And I love that. I actually was telling a few friends, matter of fact, shout out to Gene Barista Dubois. I was telling them, like, I really love that, because, like, I like spots where you just show that these people are human. And he was just like, it's all good, you the man. And matter of fact, made me thought that they were going to go with Javon as the winner for tonight, but we'll talk about that. But Cedric is hyping him up. Javon's like, yeah, this is my, my time, my moment. Nathan and Axiom show up. They give him props, give him to Javon. But they also said, like, but Cedric's like, no, that's all nice and stuff. But yo, you cost us a few weeks ago. And Nathan and Axiom are trying to, like, diffuse it and be like, yo, we were coming after A-Town down. Wes comes in there. Wes says, like, yo, all right, shout out to you from last week, but, like, yo, you're not going to win. You're not going to win this triple threat because I'm winning it. And Javon was like, yo, you never won the championship. They have a back and forth, but I just want to get to Javon because Javon cracks me up. Young man is 20 years old, right? And it cracks me up because he'll do something. He go, yeah, that's his thing. He'll clap, and I love it. Like, he got mad hype off that. I feel like I woke people up, but it cracked me up when he did that. I don't know. Did you want to say anything before we go into because there's another segment, Jakara Jackson. I got to remember her last name because we have the same last name. Jakara Jackson, the last legend. I thought they were done dirty on SmackDown. But it looked like they are just in this. I don't know where we're going with this, right? But it looks like they're really into in this women tag team division, because they were on they lost on SmackDown, they were on Raw yesterday, and now they're going to be challenging Damage Control. So they're getting some time. And then said after this, we're coming right after Bianca and Jay, which they should. If they would have to beat Damage Control, because that performance, if you look at that performance, why would they get another match? They got dusted in under 2 minutes. And I like Lash and Jakara. You know what happened? I think what happened was, I think some EC voodoo was done. Because he's a big fan of Jakara, and for whatever reason, because of his fandom, it cost Jakara. Do you agree to that?
Well, I mean, he always tries to put a spell on her, but it doesn't work.
You guys have to see him at NXT. He just looked like he's just having the time of his life. I didn't upload the picture, but it's hilarious actually.
He always looks like he wants to be at NXT when Jakara is out there on his screen.
Listen, when I was out there a few weeks back, I had the time of my life, and I look forward to coming back down there. I just need to time myself when, my girl's out there, JC Jane, which I do want to talk about. Matter of fact, before we get to that, because I did put for this segment, poor JC, and I put a sad face. You guys can't see it. It's a very, very sad face. I actually look like a fucking mustache, actually. My bad. They kept talking about this guy. His name, they said next week they're going to have a guest. His name is Cole Cluster. And I said, why the fuck do I care? I'm sorry if this language bothers you, but I'm going to sit here and say it. I don't give a shit about this guy coming out here. Oh, because he's a NASCAR guy? I don't care. Is he going to drive to the ring? Is he having a race with Dom Toretto? Don't give a damn. But they kept hyping this guy up. And the only way I would have cared about this, I'm going to tell you guys right now, I would have cared if the car had Sonic the Hedgehog on it. But did it have Sonic the Hedgehog on it? Abso-fucking-lutely not. So, nasty. Did not like any of this. I was upset, and I proceeded to go heat up my chicken because I was very hungry. I made barbecue chicken, and it made me happy. I was very proud of myself. But do you give a shit about Cold Cluster?
I don't follow NASCAR like that. Watching cars going round and round and round as a race, that would bore the ever-living hell out of me.
Jeffrey says we need a video evidence of him having the time of his life. Well, it's usually around Christmas because he gets ready to steal Christmas. We got the man here, Roderick. He said, I came here for Jack. See, he's someone who understands my pain. Thank you, Roderick, for being here. Jeffrey says the brief time we saw JC was well time spent. You think you're so funny. You think you're going to be an opening act for one Kevin Hart. Keep your jokes to yourself. We got the mayor of the Jack Pack community wants to say that he's feeling a lot better and that he should be back by next week. It's good to hear that one, Roderick. I'm glad to hear that you are feeling better. Swear jar. I've already put $3 in there because I cursed a lot.
I already put mine.
I don't think you cussed. Did you cuss?
No, I did.
You didn't, right? Good. Good job.
I mean, I did say that watching NASCAR bores the ever-living SHIT out of me.
There was a time, I'm showing my age here, what was it, 2003, and it was Rosie, and he was teaming up the Hurricane, and he was called the superhero in training. He said, I'm the H, and he said the SHIT. And an old woman said, that's such language. I remember as a kid, because I was an idiot, I didn't get it. And then as time went on, I said, oh, he spelled shit. Roger goes and said, I want to say to Jack that I am tired of Ava disrespecting one. JC Jane, which she deserves so much respect after everything she's done to help pull Chase U out of the predicament. And you know what, Roderick? I 100% agree with you. If I'm going to ban one. I'm not watching any more Rock movies until something is done.
I thought you were going to stop watching Rock movies anyway after Black Adam.
No, I wasn't. When I really wanted to start boycotting Rock movies, I'll tell you when I was going to happen. Remember when? Well, you said you wasn't watching wrestling at this time, but when I learned years later that he's the reason that Bill Goldberg showed up to WWE in 2000.
Yes, you've mentioned it before.
Yeah, I said, yeah.
The show.
I was this close. I was this close to boycotting it. But until something is done about Ava and her bad GM stuff, because I just think it's unfair. Do you think it's fair that she rewards Julia and other girl, and meanwhile JC and them who've been here for a while, who deserve a shot at that Women's North American Championship, but they don't get that, but they have to do a lot of a tag match. But I'm also really upset at Fallon. I'm sorry
for jumping in and taking the match, even though Jason didn't say anything.
The leader. You're not the leader. Why are you doing that? Why are you making those kind of decisions? And you can see
because apparently she is, even though nobody has said who is an official leader or not. I'm just going to say this.
We know who it is.
Julie and Stephanie do have a valid reason for getting a match against Cora and Roxanne. Now, here's what I'm going to say in regards to Fatal Influence. Well, here's what I thought was going to happen. I thought Ava was going to say, you want a match for the North American Championship so badly. Why don't the three of you have a triple threat match as comrades to determine who would be the one to challenge Kaylani for the match and wind up having JC win so she could go after Kaylani? Because I've been at wrestling shows where I've seen heel faction members go against each other and nobody turns on each other. Nobody double crosses each other. Nobody does any conniving tricks against each other. And those have been some matches that I've enjoyed because it's like, wow, even heel faction members have enough respect each other to not try to pull anything on each other. But no, we get a predictable, oh, we're getting a tag match. You can go against Julie and Stephanie. You guys pick between the three of you. It's like the no quarter catch crew rule thing with the Heritage Cup that they have where they would choose who, no, not the Heritage Cup, when they'll fight in tag matches, who of the four would come in as a tag team to fight. We don't need that. Just do something a little different. I would have preferred something a little different because having a tag match I feel like is a little too predictable, but I get they want to build up some tag team momentum between Julie and Stephanie before Halloween Havoc.
I blame Colin for all of this. But I hear what you're saying. I kind of thought they were going to go that route of a triple threat. I kind of, my eyebrows went up. But no, they're going to just have them go out there and get their butts kicked. This is not good. You know, last week we didn't review last week, but when they went against
no, we didn't review last week because like I said, Milton was coming through. I couldn't watch anything. CW kept getting cut off with the weather, and the only little bit I got to see was the ending of the 6-woman tag match.
Matter of fact, that's why I wanted to touch real quick, George, because he said that. But yeah, no, when I saw that, I knew that Fatal Influence was not going to win. And this looked like there's going to be another week where they don't win. And I don't know what is. I still think that there's something going to be going on where they do get a shot. One of them, I think, is going to be JC. Could be wrong here, but going for that Women's North American Championship. But that's all for next week. We also got Jeffrey who says Goldberg mentioned count 1. One day I'm going to really beat that count, Jeffrey. I don't know how, but I'm going to some way, somehow. George also says, no, Ava gave Julie and Stephanie a tag team match with Roxanne. Don't tell me what she did, George. I saw the damn show. Jeffrey says, good point, Sabrina. Jeffrey says, I hope it's Jason Fallon goes after them. He thinks he's so funny. You think you're hilarious. You probably sat there, you probably pat yourself on the back. You said, I made the funny. I got Jack. You don't got Jack because no. Just like Fatal Influence lost to Jade, Bianca, and Kalani last week. George is another funny guy. So we got the two G's who think they're funny. All right, G's. We got Roderick who says, LOL, I'm boycotting against Ava Jack. Her name, Ava Jack. Who's that? Who's Ava Jack? Is that
against Ava, Jack?
Oh, thank you. I needed that. And they're not going to be Julie. No, they're not. I already know that. I don't think I can do next week's show, guys. I think I might have to call out for this one. But following once the women's, you know what? A
lot of women want that title.
Peppers. That's what I want. I want an unlimited amount of free peppers. But we all can't get what we want. George, take the floor, Sabrina.
Anyways, let's move on to the next part of the show.
Let's go. We have Nikkita Lyons making her return, going against Lola Vice.
You know what's funny?
No.
Both of these women got popular on NXT, more so Nikkita out of NXT on social media from shaking their butts.
Well, yeah, no, a lot of people like I saw how Twitter was. They were a little too thirsty for me. But yeah, Nikkita Lyons is her first match back since January. I didn't realize it was January that she was out.
She's been out so many times, so much it's not even funny. Not her fault, but
no, I think people. I mean, I just hope that she stays.
I hope she stays there longer than a few months. I mean, there's no anonymous over there to attack any of the girls to use as a cover up due to the training regimen they had over at the performance center. So
I thought it was actually interesting last week. Something that Lola Vice said, and it was something I mentioned on Pop. was that Lola mentioned like to Nikkita and said like, "Yo, this women's division is totally different," and that was something that the announcers were even saying. I forget between Book and Vic, but one of them were mentioning like how much things have changed since she's been gone. Like now we talked about Julia and Stephanie, and then you got I forget, I think it was George that put it in there, but Delta is coming in. I'm not familiar with her work, but when you hear the way that they present these women, you're like, oh, this is a big deal. And then you also still got your homegrown town of Roxanne, Cora, Fallen, JC. I mean, there's a lot of women, and also too. I just want to make sure I include this, but George said that Jada. There's a lot of women that has since Nikkita's been out, like just been, and so Ruka too. I mean, just so many women. I mean, Kalani Jordan. There's so much going on there, and it's like now, where does she find her place in this women's division? And even Lola, I would say Lola.
Lola needs a spot. They need to figure out what to do with her because they had her as a big heel at first, then they turned her babyface, and now they don't know what to do with her right now. They're just having her fight with Jada because they couldn't get along for 10 minutes to try to beat Fatal Influence.
Yeah, no, but it's still something. I mean, she's on TV, she's on a feud. I mean, they're doing something with her right now. Her character to me is so right. She used to be the heel, now she's a baby face. It looked like Jada's the heel in this.
She is the heel in this feud. I'm just gonna say this: why is it every time that they turn heels, baby faces, why do y'all gonna make them so boring and so bland with no character? Why? They have character, they have pizzazz, they have charisma when they're heels. Why do y'all make them boring?
But
let them keep the sassiness and the charm, the charisma they had when they were heels as a baby face. Don't try to make them also cookie cutter and all that. I'm sick and tired of that. It's a pet peeve of mine.
The thing you could do with someone like how you said, like a heel and stuff like that, like Stone Cold. I'll use Stone Cold as an example. Even when he was face, or you could say even tweener, he never lost his edge. And you kind of
exactly do something like that. Mm-hmm. Just at least try. Let her keep a little bit of what she had as a face.
Right.
Just like when people turn from heel to face and then they start getting the shenanigans of buffoonery pulled on them that they used to pull, they fall for it. It's like, y'all were just doing that 2 weeks ago and now all of a sudden you're falling for it. Y'all look stupid.
Oh, and same with I like the point that Jeffrey's saying. Same with Roman Reigns, because even still, like he still got that edge to him. So I agree. George, you're saying we had an OTM, and that was another thing that made me go like, oh, Jada. Besides her costing Lola, and I want to get into the match a little bit, but like when I saw her with OTM, because I feel like they've been separated for quite a few months, or maybe a few weeks.
They've been separated for a minute because they were focusing on Jada.
And so yeah, when I saw that, I was like, oh, okay, cool. Or not even cool, but I was like, oh, okay, she's the heel. But the match goes, the crowd missed Nikkita. They're saying welcome back to Nikkita.
Yes.
When these girls are having some strikes, they're striking because they're both strikers, right? So you get that. But I also realized the thing with the crowd here was that they were really pro Nikkita. Like I don't want to say they turned on Lola, and
they didn't turn on Lola, but Nikkita has been one of the most over and one of the quickest to get over in NXT 2.0.
Yeah, no, she got over
from the vignette when they showed, from day one when she debuted, which I was there for that. It just happened. She just got over.
I'm sorry, Z.
Yes, and I saw that comment that Z put up in regards to Nikkita, but we all know how much Z does love Miss Valerie Loretta, aka Lola Vice. So I said nothing in the chat about when him and the executive consultant were going at it about them, because that is not my place, and I didn't feel the need to stick my nose into it because I like both of them.
Nikkita had been out, so they missed her. Yeah, no, they definitely did. But real quick too, I when I was watching her vignette, because they reintroduced her, I kind of got heel vibes off her. So I was sitting there saying, are they going to turn her heel because of the way
the people love her way too much for them to turn her heel? And besides, she's always been like that fighter type character. Like was with the family of musicians and grew up being on the road and had to like defend herself from people that would always try to like beat her down and all that stuff. I still remember that. So it's kind of transitioning into that now. So
Right. The next thing we got, Raleigh Osborne went against Ridge Holland. I'm not gonna hold you guys. I loved Ridge Holland destroying Chase U. But Raleigh was good out there. I mean, he's kind of grown on me. He's very athletic, full of energy, but he was the last piece to get destroyed by Chase U, and it made me
again,
very, very happy. And Ridge was about to destroy him for the final time, but once again, Andre Chase can't mind his business. He comes out there.
well, of course, he couldn't mind his business. That was one of his fellows. That was one of his students at Chase U. That's all I'm going to say on the matter.
I'm not going to hold you. I remember getting my ass kicked in school, and I remember my teacher coming out to help. So I just don't think that should be anybody. I think he should mind his.
Well, I kicked someone's ass in school when I was younger, and the teacher didn't help them because they deserved it.
There we go. We got George. He says Nikkita has a new move where she does this top rope. Now, honestly, I thought she was going to do like the annihilation or the annihilator, like Nia. So when she did like the old Veda bomb, I said, oh, okay, so we're doing something different. Because I thought she was going to do the split. That was her finisher, but no, we did something different. Z says Lola has replaced Nikkita as far as skill set. It's like Ronda and Sonya Deville. Roderick says same, meaning he enjoyed Andre Chase getting his ass kicked. I mean, Chase, you getting the ass kicked. Sorry, hiccups, guys. The chicken's kicking in. George says Andre Chase returned and took out. I don't know about that, George. I think your TV started to do the fuzzy wuzzy thing, and you couldn't see what was going on. I think you had to hit it 3 times or change the antenna, because I don't believe you. Cringe Holland, please get off my screen. Jeffrey, please.
Well, I mean, Ridge Holland is about as entertaining as watching paint dry.
I hear people say this all the time, and my counter is I have a good time. So yes, let that paint. I sit here and go, this is fun. So yes, Ridge is salty because he lost the NXT Tag Team. Yes, because Andre Chase cost him that one, George. Roderick says, I really, really hope and pray. Oh, geez, I'm scared to read your comment. I'm going to read your comment privately just to make sure it's okay. Jeez. He really hopes that he sends Andre Chase packing again, just like he did at No Mercy. But yeah, the match was fine. I mean, Andre Chase and they didn't say they're going to fight at Halloween Havoc, but they're not done with each other. He's not finished with him. So before we get to the next match, do you have any thoughts about this?
No.
Fantastic. Then we get Ashadi Theodonis.
I have one thing to say in regards to that, and I want you to clip this and make it into a video so I can put it on Instagram. I saw Ashante's gear, and all I immediately thought was someone that I know who has merch in the same thing as it. I'm going to try to point it the best I can.
Oh. There we go. There, you guys see that right there. Nice.
Same design and anything. All I was thinking was for Mr. August Artois, the veteran at only a few years, but has wrestled more internationally than every other indie wrestler that I know. Better come get your money. Better come get your bank, because getting infringement with the gear.
We got Good Chris.
And if not, I can take a picture.
We got
but you know what? Let me try it again and make it easier.
See, there you go.
You see, it matches the exact same thing that he had on his pants tonight.
There we go. We got.
Can't I just joke with y'all, people? Can't I just joke with y'all?
We got Good Chris. He says Roderick. Jesus. Roxanne Perez is 2-0 at Halloween Havoc. She beat Cora Jade in 2020 and beat Kiana James in 2020. Was that Halloween Havoc? Oh,
I don't think so.
I don't remember. I was there for that. They had that match, but I didn't remember that was Halloween Havoc. So, good job, Good Chris, for mentioning that. Maybe we can get Xavier Woods to help Ridge Holland, Jack. Symbiote Xavier Woods, exactly. We got, all I saw was AJ Lee talking about Jeffrey.
Yeah, my computer because I have a sticker of her on there. I tried
George,
pointing it down without lifting it up, but I did anyway. So
there we go. George says, for good Chris, I can see that streak end. Roger says it's just an idea. George Lewis said, just saying at good Chris. And Jeffrey said he had a AA for sure.
yeah, the same style and everything.
This match, first when I saw Shanti come out, so he come out, he has the entrance. His music sounded like the music that Trick had when he first started. Because I felt
They
like
probably gave it to him because they can't exactly use the music he used before.
I can imagine. But when I heard it, I was like, this beat sound familiar. I once again a fan of the Adonis, and this match was
Better him versus Brooks Jensen, which
right. And
I don't really care for that much.
oh, sure, take the floor. I'm sorry. Go ahead, take the floor.
No, it's fine. I mean, the match was fine. It did what it needed to do, which was advance the storyline of the fact that now Carmen all of a sudden wants Ashanti because it's the same logic for men to women as it is women to men. All of a sudden, y'all want somebody when they stop wanting you. When y'all don't pay attention to somebody, when you stop paying attention to them after they keep paying attention to y'all, and they stop chasing you, that's when you want them. I'm just like, can we stop? If someone doesn't want you, don't bother. If you don't want somebody, tell them straight up. That's why I tell anybody that gets involved, just tell them what the hell you want. Do you want to be friends? Do you want a relationship? Do you just want to have fun? Just tell me. Don't tell me what you think I want to
hear. Z says, can we please acknowledge how fine Jada Parker looked tonight? My God.
Well, he does call himself the future ex Mrs. Jada Parker, so.
Jeffrey says, I thought that was Sami Zayn wrestling Ashanti for a second. No.
No, please. At least Brooks had the decency to tie his hair back. Sami Zayn has never tied his hair back while it's been growing out like that. I think he enjoys how loose it is in the breeze talking about Sami.
Okay. We got Z. Jeffrey throws up the one for Z. George said, simping Ashanti. Roger said, LOL, God, I wish I had a woman that like me the way Carmen like Ashanti, the Adonis Jack. We got.
You probably do.
Yeah, we got. There's probably someone out there and you just don't know it yet. Good Chris says, I see Roxanne Perez 3-0 at Halloween Havoc. George is George and Good
George
Chris
is just disagreeing with him. He's saying, I don't know about that. And then Good Chris said that Cora and Roxanne are AJ Lee's daughters. Yes, they like to joke that they're her daughters and CM Punk's their daddy.
There we go. So we got the last thing is the main event. We have Ethan Page going against Wes Lee and Javon. So I'm going to give you the floor and just take over. Like, what did you think about this match?
Well, it kept getting cut off, so I couldn't actually watch this match, which I was very disappointed in. But I did hear who did win because in our group chats, with the executive contradiction going for Wes Lee, because we all know that he does not like Ethan Page for the life of us. And he wasn't going to root for Javon Evans because besides the fact that Javon Evans is a face, Javon Evans is not 6 feet tall. He's not over 200 pounds. And he doesn't act like he has the charisma of every other douchey Jersey Shore type character in the world. Wes Lee versus Trick would have been a good match. I'm just going to say that. But I feel like because they had Wes and Javon going at it backstage and Ethan Page training by himself and being focused, that they were going to give it to Ethan Page so that him and Trick can have one last match and have like one big one to go all out to end the feud.
Yeah, I honestly had Javon win it, especially after last week. I said, oh, maybe Javon's going to go over and, go over. I didn't see Wes Lee winning, and I didn't see him winning because I don't believe his feud is done with, God, I'm blanking on Winston. So I said, no, that's not going to be. And I didn't think Ethan, but Ethan, I guess it's the choice. I mean, they have this little rivalry, him and Trick, and I thought it
It's
was fine.
just to completely end the rivalry once and for all. That's the only reason why Ethan Page has won, which we all know that the only other person that was really happy at this was one Miss Shea Story, because we all know how much she adores Ethan Page, like nobody's business, just as much as she adores Finn Balor. But
Right.
from what I read, seemed like it was fine. I'm going to watch it tomorrow on the CW app.
There you go. You know, the CW app, I just gotta say real quick. So I do the review, I review Superman and Lois with the trio, and I just want to say the app sucks. So I don't work from home, I travel, and I'm like, oh cool, I'm gonna take a subway, I'm gonna download this so I can watch it. You can't download the show that you want to watch, and that sucks. But the CW
That's why I don't download it, also because then it takes up too much space on your phone.
There you go. See, if I was just home, I would do it. But I you know, when I'm out, I can't watch it. Like Superman and Lois comes out Monday, but I'm watching Raw, and you know, I'm like, oh cool, I'll watch it in the morning. And oh cool, I'm traveling, let me watch it. And when I get to the subway, guess what? It stops. But nonetheless, it's nice to have. Jeffrey says Javon almost won it. Yeah, matter of fact, when he was so close. And even just rolled up like that. I just thought that was such a sneaky pin. So fantastic stuff. Good Chris says, I am the fact man. Okay. Roderick says, LOL, while me and George agree on something. Wow, that's something new. Trick got clocked by the stage light. See, I didn't, you know what, Jeffrey, I have to sit here and say, I had to ask a few times. I said, where the hell did he get that from? Gotta know what the hell that was. Fantastic. Matter of fact, real quick, when they spun the wheel, Ethan won and he calls out Trick, that the thing lands on the Devil's Playground. So we're going to be getting that at Halloween Havoc. Roderick says, LOL, I'm hoping that Kevin Owens will come to NXT and start giving the beats to Ethan Page, just like how he was giving the beats to Randy Orton last Friday. Kevin Owens have beats from Dre? Like he was doing that? That's very nice of him. Roger says, I'm literally manifesting that, Jack. I realize that's your word. I feel like you should like get a shirt and just put manifesting. And it could just be something about, I don't know, someone getting their head slammed into a tree. I don't know what kind of crazy thing you got going on there, Roger. But yes, I know that's your thing, manifesting. A lot of things. George says, I had the CW on cable and they have it on demand. Oh, by the way, CW replay NXT last weekend. Yeah, I know. I feel like they put everything on the day after, so you're good to
Yes,
go.
they do, just like Hulu does.
Yeah,
and there's nothing wrong with that. But if you're saying that you're having it, if you're having the program on your channel, and you're saying like, oh, that you're going to stream it, like do it live on the app as well, so people that don't pay for cable and don't want to pay $70-some for YouTube TV to watch one channel once a week.
right.
Just make it a little easier.
Make it a little.
And I will keep saying it, and I do not care how stupid I sound.
We got Chris who says, I said Roxanne Perez would beat Julia with the help from Cordray, and George Lewis said it wouldn't happen, and it did. You did. When we did a watch along, I hope that I gave you the shout out, because when that did happen, I was like, where's good Chris? Because he called it. So good job. Good Chris. Good job to you guys in the chat. Jeffrey, who says, I always stream my shows on TV, and it should be for the app as well. Fantastic. That was NXT. It was a fun show. You know, we have next week, we have that tag match. We get that tag match with women. There's a lot of women matches going on here.
Yes, I feel like they're also slightly making up for the fact that the thing with Kevin Owens apparently took some time away from women's matches on SmackDown, so we didn't get a lot of it. And one of the only few matches that we gotten was about 2 to 3 minutes, which I had sent our group chat, gave me flashbacks to the 2010s, early 2000s, when they would only give women 2-minute matches.
Oh yeah, give the Divas a chance. Absolutely. So yeah, no, right, and I'm glad that you said that, because we're gonna get the metaphor going against Damage Control. We're gonna have
NXT royalty come back down,
and we're gonna have fucking Cole Cluster. Like, how excited are you guys to have some Cole Cluster? He's gonna be there next week. Tell me how
Excitement is going down, 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 down to the bottom of the sea.
I can tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to drink 6 gallons of water so I could just be in the bathroom the whole time he's on, because nobody asks for this. Just like a Nick Cannon City, I ain't buying it. And that's the show. Why don't we wrap it all up here? We got I like to read the comments before we go home. Jeffrey says, Jack, AJ, Sabrina, what are your thoughts on Jimmy trying to recruit Jay on Raw? I'm going to save my thoughts because I be talking about Raw on the Big Bob Baby podcast, and I will be giving some thoughts on that. So you'll have to wait and see this weekend. Matter of fact, if I could give a plug here, I'm very proud of the Big Pop Theory podcast. It turns 2 this week, and we're going to be doing an episode Sunday. It's going to be on there Monday, and I look forward to you guys. I might bring out a little bit of the bubbly. You might hear me talk in a way that sounds very, very bad. I might start slurring my words. That's how much I'm going to be celebrating. So you'll have to wait and see. But do you, madam, want to give some thoughts about one Monday Night Raw about Jimmy trying to recruit Jay? I'm sorry, I said a different timeline.
Jay basically has PTSD from the Stockholm syndrome he had to deal with Roman versus not even though Stockholm syndrome is like being in love with your captor. It's more still like dealing with the emotional and mental abuse that they had to go through for a few years. So why did Jimmy think that Jay would instantly say yes to joining somebody who put them through hell for so long?
And it's the right move. I mean, real quick, it's the right move. They're going to build to it, and it's the right move to have him do it, because if he had joined right away, he would have looked like a fool. George says, Roderick, you and me both, Shay is going to cry when Ethan loses. Oh, wow. Yeah, I can't wait to tell her about this. She's really on to YouTube.
I'm not going to say that because I am an Ethan Page fan myself. Whether he wins, whether he loses, the match will be good.
There we go.
I mean, he's had crazy matches before. Him and Darby Allin coffin match. That's all I'm going to say. Casket match.
We got Roderick, who says Miss Sawyer Crash Out Revenge Tour. Chris says good night. The Great Grand Slam Pooba and Sabrina Estella, aka Wrestling Doll. Have a great night, sir. Jeffrey says, just a second. Who? You got to do it like Booker T. Who? George says, former NXT Women's Champion, Grace NXT, and the crowd's going to go nuts. Absolutely. It's a treat to have them here. For the Big Pop Baby podcast is awesome, especially when Jack misread and mispronounce words. I don't need you to remind me of my stuff. I've gotten a lot better here, Jeffrey. I can see Jay coming to his senses. Crash out season, crash out season, crash out season. The UPR Awards, yes, that's absolutely right. The UPR Awards are coming. That sounds very personal, but it will be happening. We're in October. It's going to be somewhere.
Yes, we're mid-October.
Yes, and we will. I don't remember anything anymore, guys. Everything all comes together. I still think Lil' Kim does music. I don't even know where the hell she is. Alexa, where's Lil' Kim?
Lil' Kim has lived in the United States.
Thank you. Alexa, stop. I'm glad to know she lives in the United States. Thank you. You're a lot of help, madam. We got Leave Shay Alone. How dare you guys?
Yes, leave Shay Sawyer alone.
Absolutely.
How dare y'all keep saying that you're going to be happy to see her cry?
You know, Z, and he pretends like he's going to be winning some awards when I'm around. Look, Sabrina Star, I need a moment here. Z the Silent, you have done nothing but a great job since you have come back to UPR. You are a fantastic asset to the brand, and you do great stuff. But you think that when there's a category about best host, funniest host, duo of the year, you think you're going to, when my name is next to it, the Great Grand Slam Poobah, BadGuy Jack, the face that run the place? I know no one's ever said that to me, but I like to believe that I'm that guy. And you,
the best there is, the best there was, the best there ever will be.
I would change into my Bret Hart shirt, but I'm very sweaty right now because this onesie has made me hot. So I don't want to mess up my shirt. I want to save it for the occasion. But absolutely, I'm the best there is, the best of us, the best there ever will be. So you say it's very personal. All I know is you need to clap your hands for me when I win my award. I'll give a great shout out to you. And I might throw baloney in the executive consultant's face. I don't know. It's going to be wild. We haven't even figured out who's going to be hosting the show. So that should be great. Jeffrey says he appreciates us. George says Lola is going to cost Jada her match. Yeah, because they're going to pick up. They're in the midst of a feud, so of course, Jeffrey would love for you to come to the SmackDown Penitentiary.
Listen, Jeffrey, you want to know where you can watch me and Z work together? You can watch us this Thursday on our top 5 as we discuss our top 5 wrestling crushes. Z will talk about the ladies as well as Freckle Sensei will be joining us, and they will both be talking about ladies. I will be talking about the ladies and the men's because I like both.
There we go. It's going to be a good time. What time is that show happening? Sabrina Estella.
Probably be between 7 to 8, one of those times. Hashtag Thirsty Thursdays.
I don't know why, but do you see anything here? Because I don't see. Yeah, I don't see nothing either. I just thought that was just me. But Jeffrey said he will be there. But
I'm going to say this, and I'm going to ask for it to be clipped when I say it again on Thursday. But I'm going to share this on my social media. So if any of my friends that happen to be wrestlers watch this, if y'all are watching and y'all think I'm going to mention any of y'all in it, just y'all know there is no chance in hell I would ever say if I did have a crush on any of y'all or not. Boost up those egos so damn big it becomes as big as Jupiter? Absolutely not.
I see George. He says, I have my...
The girls, yes. The guys, hell no.
I have George here. He says, I have my top 5 women crushes in wrestling. So with that said, you should join in on Thursday. Z the Silent, Sabrina.
I have a list. I wrote down a list. I have 20 on each side. I have a list.
She has a list. You know. Oh, here we go. Here's Z. I love this so much. Let me make sure I got this right. Z the Silent said, and Z, you're trying to hold me up. How dare you try to have a promo with me by text? But he says, see, the thing is, I have a feather in my pocket and currently putting together my case and all my commercials for the best show, host, and funniest host. Plus, the viewers get to vote. Yeah,
that's right. We were going to say it a little later, but this year, y'all get to vote. So that way, it's a little more fair, and we don't get results that make us upset because when we vote, we cannot vote for ourselves if we think that we are suited to be the winner of said category.
Yeah, executive consultant. But I feel really good about this because my Jack Packers are right behind me. Jeffrey tries to pretend he's not, but I know Jeffrey is. George, with his tight-ass sweater, is a part of the Jack Pack community. And I know Roderick, you sweet, beautiful child. I know that you're there and you will vote for me. So it looks like you're if I know my math real correctly, 1 + 1 = I won. So sorry, I don't make the rules. I just read them out loud, and I'm the best. So yes, the people get to vote, and I feel confident about this. And if you guys don't vote for me, I will write a white woman letter so fucking fast.
You vote for whoever you please, whether it be Jack, whether it be myself, whether it be I don't know who else.
I mean, just vote good. Because last year was a disaster. Like, the executive consultant won funniest host, so like for the UPR Entertainment. But because he keeps people there out of fear to vote for him. And I'm looking at Sanderson and someone who has a segment on Mondays. And sometimes he's in a bathroom. All right, let's really wrap up the show here. Wrestling Dog, why don't you tell the lovely people, because there's something for everybody. So I'm going to post this here, and you can tell the folks these things.
All righty, on Monday nights at 6 p.m., we have the Mike Knox Show for the intelligent wrestling fan. Tuesday nights at 7, you have the Raw Review with Freckle Sensei and EC. Then you have NXT Tuesdays. We talk about NXT after it's over. AEW Dynamite on Wednesdays after Dynamite goes off the air with Cactus Katie, Venomous Vinny, and Dan the Man.
Whoa.
Top fives and or prediction shows on Thursdays. And then you go take a lovely visit to the SmackDown Penitentiary on Saturday afternoons, either between noon or noon and 1, depending when they're able to get on the air, with Vic the Mark and the Z is Silent.
Seem like a great cast of people. So, I mean, look, UPR has a lot of great hosts. You can catch us all on different days. I know Entertainment, they do things. Right now, I can only speak for the trio. We're doing Superman and Lois, so I'm on Tuesdays at 7, I almost said 7 a.m., Jesus. But 7 p.m. with Cedar Superior and Vic. And then I work with them again tomorrow for, I almost said WandaVision, jeez. Agnetha all along. So there's that kind of stuff. But also too, you have your YouTube channel. You got things going on. And I always like to say, plug your stuff in here. I do want to say real quick, I agree with you, George. EC is not funny. Although the just a second thing, I see what you're saying there, Jeffrey. But I had to remind him of his line. He said it in a show. Didn't even realize he said it. And I said, just a second. And he asked, why do you keep saying that? I said, because of the show that you did. So, yes, I helped him with that. So if he wins, I win too. But Wrestling Doll, where can people find you on the YouTube universe?
Well, on the YouTubeverse, you may find me on as the unofficial camerawoman, where I go throughout Central Florida to record wrestling matches and put them up online so people can see with good indie wrestlers that have also been featured on WWE. Might have been working on there, as well as working on AEW, working on TNA, working on NWA, New Japan, wherever they've happened to have worked. I will be attending a couple shows in November, and I might be attending one next Friday that I record at and put up the matches up there so y'all can see the great talent that the world has to offer that aren't officially signed, and maybe try to get some of these companies to see. We want to see them on TV.
Love it, love it, love it. George also, George. I'm sorry, George. I messed you up. George. I'm sorry, Jeffrey. I messed you up here. But he says, follow the Wrestling Doll, you cowards. Abso-freaking-lutely. Already plugged it. There's links. There's links to her page. Links to the
And here he is.
You came in here with the red. So what do you have to say here, dude?
Why aren't you wearing blue? Aren't you supposed to represent the SmackDown Penitentiary?
Yeah.
I felt a little murderous today, so I was wearing red. Plus, it's getting cold. It's getting cold around.
Were you watching Only Murders in the Building?
A little bit. Selena Gomez is, she's great. But yeah, real quick, I'm just here to plug, SmackDown Penitentiary. Catch us every Saturday, but really, I'm just here for this. Thursday. Top 5 crushes in pro wrestling. It is now in draft format, where there will be a draft pool. I don't have the picture. I should have had the picture with me, but there's a draft pool. And once that person is selected from the draft pool, they will no longer be available on the board. Now, there are some wild cards. I don't think, because I did extensive research on this. There are about 72 most popular women that are deemed attractive. So I took all of them and put them in the draft pool. So there's no way that nobody can have a boring draft. This is going to be exciting. This is the first of the new top 5 format. So I will get the most popular results when I search a top 5 subject, and then we will put that in the pool. So
I have a list. I have a list. I wrote 20 for each side, and I will say I have a couple wild cards.
Oh. Well, I will say that your wild card does not count against you. So.
No, I know. I'm just letting you know. So I have like 15 honorable mentions for both sides.
That is where we're at with top 5 going, and then the next week we'll have Brian Danielson matches, and then after that will be you guys's North American Championship. Yeah, North American Championship, and then top 5 worst crown jewel matches. So just wanted to pop in and promote myself, because if I don't win if I don't win at least 2 awards, I might walk away. Actually, no, I won't. But I will say that I'm not tooting my own horn. But as somebody who was previously with UPR, I did not put a lot of work in. This year, ever since I came back, I put a lot of work in for this brand. I put a lot of work in. And me and Vic have turned SmackDown into the premier show, the fastest rising show. If you don't believe me, you guys can go look at our numbers. They are never flaunting. They are never flaunting. They are always flawless. Never flaunting, always flawless. And I say, we do it right. That's all I'm saying. But yeah, I'm that's it. That's my time. Y'all have a great night.
And that was Z. Okay, there we go. That was Z the silent. Like in the comment here, I think Jeffrey said it. Z is not silent. But thank you for for making that stop by and catch again. We said Thursdays, 8 p.m. Crushes, right?
Yes, our top
8 p.m.,
fives,
7
even
p.m.,
though
8
mine
p.m. or
is
something.
literally a
Most
top
likely 8
20.
p.m. I think that's the prime time. So 8 p.m. Yeah.
And I do want to give you your flowers here. I usually don't like to give flowers to people, except my mother. She's great. She left me to go on a cruise, so now I had to cut my own peanut butter and jelly sandwich to crust because I'm not a barbarian. But yes, I'm a classy man, Z. I'm a classy man. Cut the crust of the peanut butter and jelly. But that's not the point. But I want to give you your flowers because not only have you done a fantastic job on SmackDown, you brought back top fives. You realize it's been a while since there's been a top five, and you said, hell, I'll do it myself if I have to. And you did that, so I'll give you your flowers on that. You do great numbers on SmackDown, and you have done a fantastic job.
We gotta put fire under the rest of these brands. We gotta put fire in the rest of these brands under the rest of the talent. We gotta let them know. If we don't talk shit, nobody will. So somebody has to do it. And it just can't be Mike. So we don't care about Mike now.
No, we don't. The Z is Silence here. Mike's not here, and the Raw brand. I mean, God bless them. But that's really you guys gotta check out Raw. I'm pretty sure I'm gonna get a letter sitting there saying, "Hey, stop." If I don't show up next week, I got fired, guys. Anyway, that's the show. I want to thank Z for making making an appearance. The Wrestling Doll, thank you for another great episode. Thank you guys in the chat. Talking about Jeffrey. I'm talking about you, George. Talking about you, New H Man. I'm pretty sure I'm missing someone. Good Chris. I want to thank you guys. It is 11:42 at night. You said give Mama BadGuy her flowers when she comes back next week. She will. I did buy her flowers. I bought her some flowers before she left. So I always make sure that Mama BadGuy is great. And shout out to her again too, because she is the voice of pop. But you guys are great. We're gonna say good night because we'll be here all night. And we could, well, I want to say we can do it because I'm tired, guys. But that's the show. We're going to hit this thing and see you guys next week. Thank you, guys. Take care. Like and subscribe.